One day while reading history, I paused to take a sigh about the land Afghanistan, where empires go to die. Alexander the Great, he tried and failed. The Mongols, they did too. The British and the Russians, they got their ass kicked too. America's been there many years, and I ask myself why we don't learn from history, where empires go to die. They say it's terrorism, that's political malarkey. Just follow where the money goes to a corporate oligarchy. The food crops they once grew with a plow and a hoe been turned into opium poppies, growing row on row. Our infrastructure's crumbling, our social structure too. It's a corporate scam, they don't give a damn while screwing over me and you. Outrage, I don't hear no public cry about sending young men and women where empires go to die. We lost people and treasure in Vietnam and
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. Huge UFO filmed over Aleppo Township, Pennsylvania, and that was on January 13th, 2020. And there was a video that goes with it. And this video, again, was in Allegheny County, and the witness report goes something like this. I may get a habit to reviewing my security camera footage for the previous night, and on this occasion, my camera picked up a large UFO slowly and silently moving from the southwest to the northeast in view of my camera. Now, the glow didn't alarm me, as with night vision, any lights will glow bright. However, there are two things that make this different from other aircraft in the sky that my camera catches. One, my camera microphones picked up no sound at all. Two, I researched the flight history from historical radar, which shows any aircraft that would have been in the sky back 30 days. And there was no flights at all over my area at that time frame. Man captures video footage of a possible Yowie in an Australian forest. A Queensland man was searching for gold when he encountered a strange creature lurking in the woods. And this man was cleaning out his bucket near the a state forest in the southeastern part of Queensland when he said that someone or something threw a large log towards him. The military is building long-range facial recognition that works in the dark. The U.S. military is spending more than $4.5 million to develop a facial recognition technology that reads the pattern of heat being emanated by faces in order to identify specific people. Now, the technology would work in the dark and across long distances according to contracts posted on federal spending database. At last, a rain has come to the drought-stricken states as the number of deadly brush fires fall. But forecasts warn of flash floods and lightning. Downpours have already helped to extinguish 32 brush fires in New South Wales as the number of blazes fell from 120 to 88 this Thursday morning. Russian firm will freeze your brain when you die. Looking for a way to cheat death? Well, this firm will freeze your mortal remains in a vat of liquid nitrogen for a fee. With many more people hurrying up to be frozen, however, it seems that, fantasy or not, the possibility of being brought back to life in the far future is too tantalizing to pass up for many. A family is haunted by a creepy, talking Elsa doll. The family in the United States has been left terrified by this Elsa doll that seems to have a mind of its own. Now, the doll, which was bought for the young daughter as a Christmas present over 6 years ago, not only has a habit of talking when turned off, but also often talks in different languages despite being an English-speaking version of the toy. Now, on top of all this, the family has also been struggling to get rid of the doll. They've tried to throw it away several times, and somehow it always ends up coming back. Next news break, top of the hour.
Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am tonight. Well, it's already Thursday. Gee, one more day and that's it for the week for the show. Wow, I can say then we have to start in next week. But I'll tell you, like I say every night, we're in a time warp. The time just seems to be flying by. I don't know about you, but if you think you're in a time warp or you're in a slowdown, why don't you email me at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Well, James, you know what I think? Some of the stuff that you were saying in the news tonight is really, really shocking. Could you imagine? You're frozen, right? You're dead, you're frozen, thinking maybe they can bring you back. Have you ever thought when they take you out of the vat, they accidentally drop you?
Yeah, because you would shatter in a million pieces. Wouldn't that be something?
Or more. What are they going to do? Super glue you back together? I don't, you know what I think more logically? Why don't we just start creating a DNA bank really to be brought back to life where they can take your DNA and make a new one of you? So, when you die, they just bring you back as a young one again. And you go for, I don't know if I want to start life from the beginning. They need to actually take, bodies and have them, maybe like when we're at 40 years old, they create another you. And just a body, with nothing. Then they transfer, they're already talking about where they can take your brain and download it into another brain. Now, I'm not talking about taking your brain out physically, doing it through, whatever electronics and computer type system and download all the thoughts into it. So if they took, right, and made a new you and had you like in a jar, like the, aliens do when they abduct people and take them up to their planet, they could just take your bodies and put them in reserve in a vat. And then instead of freezing you, and then when you pass on or about ready to pass on, they download your brains into this new body, and there you're good to go. Of course, again, could you imagine you're 70 years old and you come back as a 30-year-old and your wife is still living at 70? Would you still have to pay, what do you call that? Monthly payments to your wife? Because undoubtedly you're not gonna want to live with your wife who's near 80 and you're 30. I don't know.
I hear you on that one. Another thing you said, if you think you're on a time slip or time is slow for you and stuff, to Gmail you. I wonder if that ever happens and if it got there like, a year later because they're in a slow-mo. It'd be like, what's this about?
Well, with Microsoft, it's quite possible. Do you know in North Carolina, a family Well, had a German Shepherd, a normal German Shepherd. Well, it gave birth to puppies, and one of them came out with, you ready for this? Not black, not brown, not even albino. It came out lime green.
Oh boy, I wonder if the father was like, okay, where you been, Miss German Shepherd wife and dog?
I don't know. Puppy. Maybe they fed their dog a whole bunch of limes or something like that.
That would be a sight to see, a green dog.
Lime green. Can you imagine? I mean, lime green. Wow, I've never heard of a German Shepherd puppy being born, or any dog, lime green. That's crazy.
That is bizarre. I wonder if there was any manipulation from our space brothers on that one.
Who knows? Maybe it's a Space Brothers dog. I don't know. He got frisky.
I know.
Anyway,
That's
security
weird.
cameras, reveal that a burglar, an ongoing burglary at a house, was not a burglar. Not in a sense of a human one. It's the neighbor's cat.
Here we go. Every day that I'm telling you, the animals are uniting and rising up against us humans. Every day they're doing B&Es and house invasions and stealing beer and all kind of craziness. Now the cats are breaking into the houses.
Yeah, and if you're really mean to the squirrels, if you have squirrels on your property, you're not nice to them, right? They're getting smart enough. They'll go up there and ring your doorbell all hours of the day and night.
Yeah, and everybody thinks their house is haunted or there's a prank or something. It's just a vicarious squirrel being that little pranky.
I don't know. Can you imagine? Could you imagine in India? They decided, well, Mexico made a pastry here a couple of weeks ago. That was about 2 miles long. And they figured, well, we can do something better than those Mexicans. We're going to create the world's longest cake. And boy, I tell you what, I would love to have that cake. You know what? I could have a couple gallons or more than a couple gallons, probably about 30 gallons of chocolate milk to go with it. But anyway, the team of bakers broke the record. This cake measures 17,388 feet long. That's more than 3 miles of cake with chocolate icing to boot.
3 mile cake. I wonder how wide it is too, but 3 mile cake. Where do you set that up? I mean, you start like at one end of the town, it goes out the other end. I mean, I just can't even picture that in my mind.
I have no idea, but you know what? If you are proud of your wife, well, the big fad now is a new bikini. It's called the naked bikini. Once it gets wet, it's 100% see-through.
That sounds like something you need for the beach too, Gary.
No, yeah, not at my age. But can you imagine? Last week there was a guy who decided he was going to get even with his wife or girlfriend. I can't remember what. But he went out and he had a bathing suit. He bought it and then took it into a seamstress and said, hey, can you order some disappearing thread? Thread, it dissolves in water. So she revamped the whole bathing suit, which was kind of small to begin with. So they go to the beach. She gets in the water. And he's really mad at her for a long period of time. And then she gets kind of flustered because she's starting to notice that the bathing suit's like falling apart on her. And then she yells at her boyfriend or husband, hey, go get a towel. And he goes, no, I'm going to go down to Starbucks. Goodbye.
I could see that. It'd be just like the old Mission Impossible tape, just self-destructs to nothing. I'll tell you one thing. It's a good thing that the guy that went to the veterinarian wasn't on that same beach. You might be in trouble. Goodness.
Yeah, well, a follow-up on the guy who took that medicine, to, for his manhood, for an evening of fun, who had an erection for 3 days. Well, it got gangrene.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, so what I read, and it's out of one of those British tabloids. They had to remove